every time I play that Game 7 intro from 1988, this guy shows up. One of my dearest friends in broadcasting, one of my broadcasting brothers and a brother in life, Courtney Harden from The Real Deal with Courtney Harden now joins me. How are you, my friend? Great to have you.
What's good, Brian? Be snowman in the morning, all those good things, man. I appreciate it. We've been trying to make this happen again and again and again. You
Yeah.
finally did it. But like you said, we're friends off camera, on camera, brothers off camera, on camera. So in the broadcasting space. So I knew it was going to happen again. So I really appreciate it, man. Really, really do.
How was the Super Bowl? Tell me about Radio Row, because that's my goal for New Orleans, to interact with you brothers in person
Yes.
on Radio Row with my beautiful wife with me.
Yeah, that's the only way it can happen. That's the only
That's
way it
the
can work.
only way.
It can
I
work.
want to. I want to surprise Jody so bad with a trip to New Orleans for Radio Row and the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
I 57. I couldn't make it to Phoenix because something went wrong with my health. 58. I couldn't make it because I lost my toe and I was immobile for a while. But I'm determined to get to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. You've experienced Radio Row. Tell the fans what that is like.
Oh my goodness. It's as you know, as a broadcaster, podcaster, been in this business for a long time. It's a dream come true. Like that's what we want to do, and once you get there, you fulfill that dream. You just it was electric. It's everything you see on TV or YouTube and everything when we talk about Radio Row, Media Row they call it now, but
Yep.
we're from the old school, so it's Radio Row.
It's
still.
Radio Row.
Right. So it's Radio Row. So people were saying, well, it's Media Row now. Okay, you could call it that, but it's Radio Row.
They can say Radio Row all they want. As you said, you and I are old school. It's Radio Row as far as I'm concerned.
It's Radio Row. So it's a dream come true. It's everything you can imagine and even more. Being there, it took me about a day to say, I belong here. I've been working at this for a long time. So yeah, the nerves are there. You get there, you start seeing all these people, and the first day you get your credentials, and you're like, and I had my wife with me too, my beautiful wife. Shout out to Courtney Harden. She was there every step of the way, and also shout out to all the the BS3 network, which we both are a part of. That they gave us that opportunity. Ben Sutters and Ivan Dawkins. So we were all there. We all got there at different times, but me and my wife, that first day was like a blur. You get your credentials, and then you're like, oh, we got to go to the first party, the Super Bowl party itself, with all on the field there, and able to interview all these players. And like I said, it took a little bit, but then once I got into it, it was like, yes, I'm here. Let's take advantage. Let's do it. So interviewing, the 49ers player. We were late to get to the Chiefs, but we interviewed a lot of the 49ers players right on the field. And just it's a mad dash. You're getting there. You see all your you see your, I won't even call them competition. You see your media friends, and and it's like they're just there, they're scrambling, they're trying to get interviews, or they see Christian McCaffrey, they see whoever, and Brock Purdy, and they see all these people, Brandon Ayuk and all this, so you're just trying to get to some sound bites and content, and then the next day it's Radio Row, and it's like it's electric. You just see everybody just passing by, and Pat McAfee and others, and FanDuel, they're there, and everything else, and then everybody's around you. It was great. And you got the media party. You have that, the media dinner. We went to that the next day, and then the third day, that was Wednesday. It was Wednesday. That's when it was really like everybody was there, from Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, and we had people just coming to the booth, interview. We had people lined up, interviewed. We pulling people, just come. Hey, what's BS3 Network? What is the Real Deal? What is all these things? We tell them. We get that interview with them. So that's what it was. So Wednesday, Thursday was the busiest because of everything that everybody's there that day, those 2 days. But you don't have time to breathe. I tell you that.
Right.
So I'll tell you this: when you go, take some breaks, because you're gonna need it, because it's so much going on.
I'm telling my brothers at BS3 Network, please get a snowman to New Orleans. I
Yeah.
want to be at Radio Row in New Orleans this year. You and I share a lot of common friends in broadcasting, one of which is the lovely Deb Whitkus, who has now been on this show
Yes.
3 times.
Mhm.
And, you know, she loves being on with me. I know she loves being on with you. It's such a blast having her and her personality on the
Yes.
show,
Mhm.
talking football.
Yes.
Talking a lot of football, man. The knowledge is off the chart with her, but she's a very, very friendly personality. I know it's fun whenever you have her on.
Oh my goodness! Yes, it was a lot of fun, and we got to meet her at Radio Row
Nice.
this February, and we met her. It was after when we got a chance to go on the field the first night where all the media's there. So got a chance to meet her. Got a chance to meet her there. Took a picture with her. Talked with her for a while there, and then I told her, I said, hey, come on to the booth. Come to our booth so we can. I mean, I've interviewed many times, but let's do this in person. Let's make this work.
Yes.
So we did this because she's been a Radio Row for, I think this was her 8th or 9th, and she really hooked us up because she gave us some what to do, and she it's a couple of parties that we could have went to, a couple of events that we had got a chance to go to. So she really hooked us up before we got there as our first time there. So she's her 8th or 9th. So her and her partner, I don't know if they're still doing the Blonde Blitz or not, but Nikki Giss. So shout out to her as well. So I was able to say, hey, why don't you guys come to the booth? So they came to our table, and we got to interview them for about 20 minutes just to see their experience at Radio Row. So it was great to see her in person and meet her in person. And I'm trying to get on the show once again before the season starts. So because we're both Eagles fans. Me and her are Eagles fans, so we share that common thing too. But she's a very, very incredible person, and it's just that she will help you out as much as she can, because she's got so many connections there too. When she's at Super Bowl, she's in her element too. So yeah, good friend.
She paid me a hell of a compliment after the first time I had her on, and said that I was born to do this, and said I have the voice to do this.
Wow!
I cried when I saw that compliment, man, from a 2-time Emmy Award winner.
Yeah, right.
From a 2-time Emmy Award winning producer who also pledged to get me to Radio Row.
Yeah.
In the Superdome.
Wow.
So
that's Deb.
That's Deb, and that's work for me to do. Jody's cheering me on, saying let's go to Radio Row. Man, listen, I've had arguments with people when it comes to the production of the NFL and the NFL today, and they're like, hey, I've never seen the NFL today like this. And I'm going, are you kidding? You weren't around when we were around when we heard this. You knew it was game time.
Yes, you knew it.
You knew it was game time. The legendary Brent Musburger got you ready. It was only 30 minutes of the NFL today with Irv Cross and Jimmy the Greek. Phyllis George was there for a while. But come on, man. I mean, can y'all see the old graphics coming up now? And that theme, that got you ready for football, but they had you rocking too. Around the house?
They did.
Man.
that brings back so many memories. And speaking of Brent Musburger, he's still, doing his thing. I just saw he bought the Musburger media company, just bought Bison from DraftKings. So, I mean, you play this music, that just like brings back memories. This guy's still putting in work. So, yeah.
Are you surprised?
Not at all.
Why are you surprised that the legendary Brent Musburger is still putting in work?
Yeah, not surprised.
Even now.
Yes.
He retired from ESPN in 2013. Here it is 2024, and the man is still enjoying himself working.
I mean, he's into, you talk about, me and you always talk about that's where we're from, the old school. And people like Brent Musburger, broadcasters like him, 85 years old, and he's transitioned from to the gambling and the sports betting, and
Yep.
owns his own company. And they said buying bison from DraftKings. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, people need to do. Like you said, they need to do their homework. When they hear that
You
theme
know,
music.
I said something. I said something to a friend of mine recently, and I said, by the time I'm 55, I'm going to be a billionaire and fully retired. His
Mhm.
next words to me were, "Go get it."
Yeah,
Because
right.
when I say that to people, uh, out here in public, they look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what? You don't think I can pull this off after what I've been through? Stop.
Right. Exactly.
Just,
Exactly.
just, and it's all, and that's part of it. It's motivating everyone that I come in contact with. The brothers at BS, the brothers and sisters at BS3, the brothers and sisters at Zebo, the two networks that house my morning show. Of course, my family, my daughters, my son, my wife, everybody that comes through here.
Yeah.
It's all about motivating. It's all about motivating others. For
Yes.
me, it is because I do high school baseball, high school sports.
Hmm.
Those kids need it, man,
Yeah.
and not in the big corporate way that you see with some of these internet networks popping up. They just come in, do the game, and get out. Nah, man, I'm hanging around talking to the kids after the game.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it's about. I 100% agree with you. It's about being there for the kids and what we do. I mean, I'm a big, it's like you, I'm a big family guy, and I love to. My nephews, they're old. Most of them are older now, so they're in their mid-20s, and they still say, Uncle Court, I saw you on, you had such and such on, and your podcast and everything, and listening in. And my cousin, he's in his 30s, and he's like a brother to me, and he even says, man, just keep doing what you're doing. I said, hey, that's the motivating factor, is to
Mm-hmm.
continue to keep doing what we do for others. Like you said, we have friends in this space.
Yep.
And yes, it's people say, well, what about the competition? No, I don't look at it as that. I look at it as us, as broadcast and podcast family, and we're doing this for the kids that look up to us, and for people that look up to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're, like you said, you're there after games talking with the youth. I'm trying to do that. I do that for, like I said, I see my nephews and nieces, they look up to me, and I'm like, you look, it can happen. You can do this, and whatever I can provide and help with, I'm all for it. Advice, if you need to push somewhere to, someone you need me to reach out to, that's what it's all about. Community.
I'm going to play something, and you already got that big smile in your face because
Mhm.
there's a little something added to it.
Next, exclusively from
Oh
CBS
yeah,
Sports.
You remember this opening?
yes I do. Hmm.
Now listen to this opening.
In Game 6, the Los Angeles Lakers took the floor with the defense of their title hanging in the balance. A battered Isaiah Thomas performed heroically for Detroit. But it wasn't enough. The Lakers escaped with a victory, forcing tonight's dramatic seventh-game showdown.
Doesn't this bring back memories?
Yes,
This has been a series
really
of startling
does.
contrasts. From the
Oh.
friendships off the court,
Adrian
the fierce
Dantley.
hostility.
Yes.
We
I
witnessed
mean,
the
hard
youthful
foul,
exuberance
Bill
of the
MB or
challengers
Bad Boy Pistons.
and the poise of the champions.
Wow, great.
There's been hardship and pain.
That legendary performance by Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah.
And
Ooh,
determination.
on that broken
These
ankle.
teams have battled to a standstill, and tonight their destiny.
Come to
will be
find
determined.
out, they said he might have had
Just
two
the
broken
question, who
ankles.
can endure
Mhm.
the final hurdle?
Yeah. Yes. Legendary.
And then this line right here.
The Lakers hope to repeat history tonight, while the Pistons hope to make some. A championship is at stake, and only one team's prayers will be answered.
That's a classic, man. You can't.
People
beat
don't
that.
do their homework about what we watched growing up and what basketball was.
Yes. Yes. It's
Because the first
classic.
time I was on your show, that was one of the first subjects we touched
Yep. Yes. I
about
remember.
how basketball has severely changed.
Mhm.
I mean, one of these series, the first series you and I talked about was the Warriors and the Rockets, 2018.
Yep.
And you asked me, do the Rockets have a chance? And I said no. Turns out they didn't have a chance. It took all 7 games, but they didn't have a chance. That series right there, 1988, you didn't know what was going to happen.
You didn't.
And that's the beauty of the way basketball was in the 80s and part of the 90s. You didn't know what was going to happen.
Yep.
And now you see players jumping teams to join their friends, quote unquote, playing basketball with each other on the same team. And once upon a time, it was a person you wanted to beat. Man, Larry Bird wouldn't have done that.
No.
Magic Johnson especially wouldn't have done that. Michael Jordan wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And we talk all the time about some of the players and the positions that they played. One of the positions I love watching is the forward position. And I get so many bronzexuals coming after me saying that LeBron's the greatest forward ever. Oh yeah, have him go a couple of rounds with Adrian Dantley.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Best forward ever. Oh yeah, have him go around with James Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Spin right by you, right to the basket.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, have him go a couple of rounds with Scottie Pippen, the longest arms in basketball.
Yeah. Yes. All these guys, Dominique Wilkins, all these
Dominique
guys.
Wilkins.
Yes. All these guys. Put him in that, and then if he
put him in Kevin McHale's torture chamber for a couple of rounds.
Yes.
See if he stands up still.
Yes.
I ain't gonna mention Larry Bird.
No, there's no need.
no need to mention Larry Bird.
No.
Okay.
We know where
I'm go a few rounds with Kurt Rambis.
Yes. They'll knock you on that floor.
In a minute.
Yeah.
You mentioned Dominique Wilkins. He'll soar right over him.
Yeah.
And unlike LeBron, and I'm not ashamed to say this aloud, Dominique Wilkins had a post game.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
He had an underrated post game and an underrated mid-range game. He developed his mid-range game his latter years in Atlanta.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he developed it.
Yep. He did have a post game. You're right. Underrated.
And let me throw one name at these bronzexuals who really don't like when I say this name, but you do because you recognize him. Mm-hmm. Look up the name Tom Chambers.
Mm-hmm. Kiss the rim, Tom Chambers.
Yes.
Yes.
Look up the name Tom Chambers.
Yes.
I saw Tom Chambers in Seattle and I went, what?
Who is this?
Exactly.
6'10", can fly out the gym.
And had a jump shot.
Yes. And that was before he had the ups.
Listen, he did good in Seattle, but he flourished when he was with the Phoenix Suns.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Especially when you got a little guard, I don't know, named KJ running with you.
Yeah. Yes. You're running. You talk about running gun. That's what they did. Those teams. Yeah.
That's exactly what they did. You want a forward that can compete with LeBron? 6'7" out of South Carolina. His name is Alex English.
Mm-hmm. Alex English, yes. Natural score,
natural shooter.
Yeah.
And he can take you down in the bricks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what all the forwards did back in the day. They had a complete game.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't just stand out on the perimeter all the time. Oh, no. They crashed the boards. They had a post game. They helped their teammates.
Yeah.
All right? They helped their teammates.
Yep. They played all around, as you said, all those forwards you named, Scottie Pippen to Adrian Dantley to the Tom Chambers. And like I said, I'm not even going to mention Bird. Bird's on a level on his own. So, those guys, Kevin McHale. Talk about a post, a guy that was just lethal in the post. Oh, my. I mean, I always like we and you talked about this before. We talked about guys that had post games, and Kevin McHale was one of the, if not the best. Him and Olajuwon, I would say, had the best post game ever.
Akeem Olajuwon.
Yes.
You know, Akeem Olajuwon. You can't mess with that.
You can't mess with that. And
You can't mess with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
no, and talking about
The Captain Skyhook. The two most indefensible shots in NBA history: the skyhook from Kareem and Michael's fadeaway.
Yes,
that's it. The two most indefensible shots in basketball.
Indefensible, yes. And speaking of Hakeem Olajuwon, a good friend of mine who you probably should try to get on the show is Miriam Fader, writer. I mean, she writes so many profiles for a lot of she's already had one New York best-selling.
I saw the interview we did with her, and you're gonna have to give me her contact information because I want her on the show.
Yes, I mean, real good friend of mine, and she's been in the basketball circles for a long time too. And she's got her new book coming out in October, Hakeem, and already trying to set that up with. She has a book tour here, if she comes to Philly, and try to get that all set up.
Man, if she comes anywhere near here, I'm getting over there with microphone and recorder in hand.
Yes, and I told her, I said, hey, we're gonna do an hour. We're gonna have coffee. We're gonna do an hour at the very least live. But,
listen,
but yeah, she's got a book.
Listen, you do that interview, and I'll back it up with one of my own. Same situation. Let the calls come in. Also,
do it. I will let you.
Speaking of old school forwards, I live here in Indiana. My wife's a Pacer fan. Do I dare mention the name Chuck Person?
Oh, yes. Oh, man, yes. Chuck Person.
Do I dare mention the name Chuck Person?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Man, Chuck Person drove me nuts, but I loved watching him play.
Yeah.
Because he has that sneaky post game, but he has a jump shot as well.
Yes. Totally has that jump shot. I mean, yeah, but you're right. Post game, inside game, Chuck Person. Oh, can't forget about those names, man. You cannot.
You can't. And of course, there's Charles Barkley out of Auburn.
Yes.
Who was a ball handler as well and can run the floor.
Yep.
Of course, there's Charles Barkley. There's Charles Oakley. The oak tree.
Yep. Yeah. The enforcer. The real true enforcer.
Indeed. Hey, we're just talking forwards, folks. Yeah. About how different the league is from what we watch up to today. Yeah. There were two underrated point guards that were on the same team, but got separated, and their careers flourished. The first name is Mark Price. The other name is Kevin Johnson.
Yes. Oh, Mark Price. I mean, this guy, shooter, free throws. I mean, he might still hold the best. I mean, maybe Curry now has it now. Another great, the greatest shooter of all time.
Oh my God!
Talk about Mark Price and what he did back then. You talking shooter and free throw shooter, and he didn't take no underrated point guard. You're right, underrated, very underrated. But one of my favorite point guards, you named him, Kevin Johnson.
Kevin Johnson.
You talk about a guy that had handle and can dunk on anybody
and can run.
You talking? He got that. You got that ball.
I mean, Cotton Fitzsimmons. I mean, I love you, Lenny Wilkins, but I think Lenny already knew he had his point guard in Mark Price.
Yeah.
So they swung the deal to send Kevin Johnson and Mark West to Phoenix for Larry Nance, and Larry Nance is another forward who, could dominate today. And I had the pleasure of meeting Larry Nance. So you got that, but Cotton Fitzsimmons set Kevin Johnson free. Yeah. He told him, take off.
Yeah.
And all you see, and the same with Mark Price, the same with Vern Fleming, they were a blur.
A blur. Yeah.
They were a blur.
Quick guards today, but you talk back then, Kevin Johnson was a blur. You talking, he got that ball. He's gone. He is gone. Pick and roll, he's gone. Like just run a fast break, he's gone. Yeah, totally.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
To watch these guys. Kevin Johnson, John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas.
Yes.
All right. Terry Porter. Can't forget him. And you're in Philadelphia. Dare I mention the name Maurice Cheeks?
Mo Cheeks, yes. Still talked about to this day. Here.
I love Maurice Cheeks. That backcourt, Maurice Cheeks and Andrew Toney. Were it not for injuries besieging Andrew Toney's career, it would have lasted a lot longer than it did.
It did. You're right. That's so true. I mean, that backcourt, a what if? That's a big what if.
It is.
With injuries.
And I hate seeing it that way, but when you have injuries with your feet, which is one of the most prominent things you need to play basketball, you are going to have problems. Jim Durham said it best during a Bulls-Sixers game. Tony's career has been besieged by foot injuries. And I hated that for him because one of my favorite backcourts was Maurice Cheeks and Andrew Toney.
Yeah. They were the backcourt, especially back then, and they were lethal. I mean, they were
lethal, man. The Boston May 31st, 1982, Boston Garden. The Boston Strangler himself, Andrew Toney, and what he did to the Celtics in Game 7 of that series.
Look it up.
If y'all want history, look that up.
Yes, look it up.
I mean, I know Curry has put on some legendary shooting performances, but, man, look up Andrew Toney's shooting performance.
Yeah, look it up.
From 1982. All right? Look up Byron Scott's shooting performance from the years he was with the Lakers.
Yes.
Look up Reginald Miller. Look up Reggie Miller.
Yes. Look him up. You got to look those names. Ray Allen. Look those
Ray
names
Allen.
up.
Yes.
Shooter. Because even guys like Curry and Clay will say, they've said it. They said it. These guys put up, these were shooters. Shooters shoot. Like Curry said, and these guys were shooters. They were snipers. They were it. I mean, I love what Sabrina Ionescu said. Shooters shoot. She knows as a shooter. She knows that's where that's the bridge right there. Those guys.
It is.
Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, you name those. Andrew Toney, you name those guys.
Andrew Toney, Dan Marley.
Thunder Dan, Thunder Dan to Bomber Dan. That's what they call it, man.
Dan Marley.
Yes.
All right. So many other shooters have come through the league before. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, aka Chris Jackson from LSU, and people want to say he was Steph Curry before Steph Curry. No, I could take you back in the day with a fella named Michael Adams.
Michael Adams, yes, man.
His little short ass out of Boston College.
Yeah, give you 40 quickly.
Easy.
I
mean, I love you, Chris Jackson, but we had Michael Adams growing up that could shoot the lights out from the guard position. Yeah. We had Danny Ainge out of BYU. Spent most of his career with the Celtics.
Yeah. You talk about
we had shooters back in the day, man.
Yeah. Talk about a backcourt, Danny Ainge and DJ.
And Dennis Johnson. God rest you, Dennis Johnson.
Yes. I talk about a backcourt.
You talk about a dangerous backcourt. When I think he was set free when he was traded from Phoenix to Boston to really allowed to be himself. And Phoenix was putting their pieces together after they had a finals run against the Celtics in 1976.
Yeah.
DJ won a championship with Seattle in 1979. The year Larry Bird and Magic Johnson showed up. Then he spent a couple years in Phoenix. Then after 81, he was traded to the Boston Celtics, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. Back to back.
I tell you a guard that no one except us talk about, and yet he was a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. You want a name to look up? Look up the name Sidney Moncrief.
Yes. You talking a guy that was defensively score all around everything. I was a dog. Sidney Moncrief was a dog.
He was, man.
Yeah, he was.
And he was 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. And no one says anything, like I said, except us.
Yeah.
Because we watched it.
We learned it and watched it.
I get so many people that come onto my show, or they're in the chat, and they go, "How do you know all this stuff?" I watched it.
Yeah. We watched it. We didn't have social media.
I watched the birth of Sidney Moncrief. I watched the birth of Craig Hodges. I watched the birth of the extension of Jack Sigma.
Yeah.
Don't get me started with Jack Sigma.
Yes, Jack Sigma.
And in Seattle, it was from It went from Jack Sigma to Tom Chambers.
Yes.
And they didn't miss a beat.
They did not miss a beat. Did not miss a beat. You're right. That's history. You brought up a name, Craig Hodges. You talking about shooter? Ooh, man.
I saw him in person. I saw him play in person in Game 2 of the '91 NBA Finals.
Yes.
All right.
You talking?
He had a good landing spot in Chicago.
He did.
Okay. He had a good landing spot. He had a good landing spot in Chicago. We talked about Byron Scott. You want to talk about forwards who had a jump shot? How about the name Sam Perkins?
Sam Perkins, yes. Out of North Carolina.
Out of North Carolina, absolutely.
Yeah.
How about the name Jerome Kersey? There's an underrated forward for you.
Forward, yeah. A shooter, a forward that can shoot just like Sam Perkins. You talk about, everybody talks about the shooters today, forwards today to shoot. But go back to, you said Sam Perkins, that lefty, shoot the lights out from the three.
And that's what separated him, because he was a lefty.
Yeah, he was a lefty. Yeah.
He was a lefty that could put some arc on that shot.
Mm-hmm.
I talked with Allison Moran when we did the Token Female, and she asked, what can Angel Reese do to perfect her game? Give her 10 to 15 foot mid-range shot. Don't step all the way out to the 3-point line yet.
Right.
You're a banger underneath. You keep doing that.
Yep.
But given the fact that she's a lefty,
yeah. Oh,
man, how dangerous would she be if she had a mid-range game?
Yeah. And you could tell she's working on it too.
She is, man. And I love it.
I love it because you're right. Coming out of college, I'm a big, women's basketball fan. You know that already.
You and me both, man.
Cover and everything.
Listen, you were on with me when I covered Iowa all the way to the national championship, okay?
Yep.
You were there with me. I've been a big fan of women's ball since 1982, the first year of the Final Four for the women.
Yeah.
Been glued to it since.
Glued to it since. And you talk about Angel Reese and the lefty and what she already double machine. But we've seen this in LSU. And I think I can't remember who I had on my show. We were talking WNBA and I think they asked me, well, do you feel like Angel Reese's game can translate? I said, yes, of course. She's already
translating now.
It's translating now without a jump shot, without a consistent jump shot.
It's translating now.
Yeah, right.
They're saying they were asking the same question about Caitlin Clark. I'm like, you really think Caitlin Clark's game can translate? Are you kidding?
Are you kidding me?
Caitlin Clark has something that's ready-made for the WNBA. What's that? A jump shot.
A jump shot.
And a lethal one.
Yes, a deep jump shot. You talking? Look at why are the women already? They game plan for her, the coaches and stuff, because she's already giving them nightmares. They're blitzing her they blitzed her from the beginning because of that lethal jump shot. Now she's figured it out.
Oh boy.
Oh. And
she's figured it out, and her teammates are figuring it out.
Figuring it out too.
Last 3 games, she's had double-digit assists, including a record 19 assists in a game.
So
19. They're starting to figure it out, and do not be surprised. Do not be surprised if they're top 4 before the season's done.
Right, because now they got the rest, and with the Olympic rest. Coming back, and she even said herself, Caitlin said, I'm not touching basketball because she hasn't had a chance to rest. So now if you get her,
she gets a chance to rest. Her teammates get a chance to rest because it was very rusty when she came in. They were very rusty. They didn't get time to work together. They didn't get time to practice together.
3 practices before the first game. Like, that's it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, watch out.
They get a month, and now they get a month off.
Yeah, they get a month.
Oh wait.
And they're clicking. They're clicking.
They are they are sizzling right now.
At the right time.
They are coming together at the right. They are sizzling right now. You may not see it in the record, but just watch their games, man. Yeah. You can see the parts are starting to come together. You can see it with Indiana. You can see it with Chicago.
Yes.
You can see these 2 teams could possibly be a conference finals matchup this fall.
Yeah. Exactly, because they're putting it together. You said at the right time. I love it. I'm love seeing what Indiana and Chicago's doing. Love really seeing what Indiana's doing because they're letting Caitlin be Caitlin. It's like we're not trying to make it complicated.
Right.
Let's run.
They're
She loves to run.
They finally are turning her loose.
Turn her loose. Right. The passing is she said it or she's been saying it. Run the floor. I'm going to look for you. She said she gets more joy passing the basketball than shooting the logo
Shooting the ball. Yeah.
And she said it. She saw it in the All-Star game. You put that talent around her, 10 assists, rookie record,
including a sweet dish to Angel Reese in the third quarter.
Sweet dish to Angel Reese.
Second quarter, I beg your pardon. Yeah. She gave her such a sweet pass.
Oh my goodness! And the talent that was the All-Star talent on that team. And Caitlin was just like, now they're showing behind the scenes now. She's talking like, go, go, go. She told Angel Reese, go, go, go. As soon as she got the rebound, go, go, go. And Angel Reese was flying. Angel Reese
took off. That's another thing with the big like Angel Reese. She can run
the floor when she's healthy too, and run the floor. And Caitlin loves to run, so you knew it was coming. You knew.
It's like you said, and I got a chance to see hear the behind the scenes when they were in the mic up. When she said go, 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 Angel Reese just put her head down and took off.
She said Angel was like, I'm just going ahead. I know I'm just looking to see where she's going. Like I know she's gonna look for us. She's gonna look for the big.
And think about it. Everybody wants to make something of this rivalry, quote unquote, between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Man, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. These are competitors.
Yes.
These are big time competitors. But if you didn't get a clue during the All-Star game, all you heard Caitlin say when Angel got the rebound was go, 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 and Angel took off. And then Caitlin hit her with a sweet dish to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we seeing Showtime again?
Right. Yeah.
And Matt, every time Magic got the ball, everyone took off.
Yeah.
Abdul-Jabbar, Kurt Rambis, they ran. Michael Cooper, who's going to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
I love Michael Cooper.
Me too. Cool.
Michael Cooper finally getting his due.
Finally.
6'7" forward guard out of New Mexico.
Yes. So yeah, we're seeing Showtime again, like in the women's game, and I'm loving it. I'm loving this.
I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it too. Speaking of enjoyment. Football's right around the corner. Mm-hmm. I am addicted to the Real Deal with Courtney Harden and whomever you bring on and whatever you talk about. You know I listen every week that you're on.
You know I do the same.
Well, there's a prediction floating around that your team could meet my team in the NFC Championship game. Mm-hmm. I said, you know what? Bring it on. Because we were cheated 2 years ago when Purdy got injured on a clean play. Mm-hmm. If Purdy's healthy, that's a 42-38 game or something like that. Man.
Either way, I
have no qualms. I have no qualms whatsoever of what'll happen. But December 3rd did happen. And the Eagles' mistake, they let the Niners breathe with only 2 field goals.
Yeah. Yep.
And as soon as Ayuk caught that first touchdown pass, they were off to the races. And something you said afterwards when we talked off the air, that is how the 49ers offense can look when everyone's healthy. It's a fast break offense that can beat you in any way. Mm-hmm. Because they piled up almost 500 yards that game.
Yeah, I remember. Yes, and you remember I did say that in our chat. I said,
"Yep."
And this is coming from it was hyped about the game, of course. Eagles and 49ers that day last season, and I said, the Eagles got 2 field goals, and they should have scored touchdowns because
absolutely
49ers were just like, okay, you guys hit us with your best. And I said, that's how the 49ers can look when healthy. If they got all their pieces and they went to the Super Bowl.
Man,
You know, so
and they're the favorites to do it again.
and they're favorites. They're favorites.
And they're the overwhelming favorites, but they play like we're not worthy of that position because they want to stay hungry.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams in this NFL are hungry, but teams like the Chiefs and the 49ers, they stay hungry.
Stay hungry, yeah. They're the top
And
team.
it wouldn't be surprising to see those two in New Orleans.
No, not at all. They're the top two teams. 49ers bring just about everybody back, but I got to ask you, definitely since we're here, got to ask you about Brandon Ayuk.
He's staying.
There's your opinion. Okay,
he's staying.
Mm-hmm.
They're working on a deal. It's Deebo Samuel from 4 years ago.
Yes, right.
That's all it is. It's sound and fury signifying nothing. It's Deebo Samuel 4 years ago. They know Ayuk is a great weapon to have. He's their deep threat.
Yeah.
And not to mention we drafted Ricky Pearsall out of Florida, who's been thoroughly impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we drafted the receivers. We drafted for depth.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we re-signed Juwan Jennings to a 2-year deal. You had to get the piece. Brandon Ayuk is a big piece of the 49ers team. Not just offense, but the team.
Yep. Big piece.
They gotta they know a pending contract extension with Brock Purdy is coming, and they want to have all of the pieces he needs in place right now.
Yeah.
They want to have all the pieces in place right now. You're not the first to ask me this. I saw it 4 years ago with Deebo Samuel when he wanted to get paid and he asked for a trade. It's a move. It's a chess move.
It's a chess move. Yeah.
It's a chess move. And the 49ers can still yell checkmate because they already know that Brandon Ayuk is a big piece of their puzzle.
Yeah.
Come on, that'd be stupid to trade Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you put out there, we want 2 firsts and a second, the teams are going to back off.
Yeah, right. Because like you said, it's a business chess move.
It's a chess move, and Ayuk has said many times he wants to stay in the Bay. He's one of the biggest pieces of this 49ers offense. And you know who else they extended? Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with an extension to Christian McCaffrey.
Right. That's the ultimate weapon. And
Philadelphia had a chance to see him last December with a healthy Brock Purdy and to see what he can do. And I've had so many Eagle fans say, "How did you know about this?" I said, "Look, I've watched the 49ers since 1981 when I learned about the godfather of the West Coast offense. His name is Bill Walsh."
Yes. Yep.
Every team in the NFL now is running a version of what Bill Walsh created.
Exactly. Every team in
the NFL is running a version of what Bill Walsh created.
Yep.
Bill Walsh knew what to do with the pieces he had. And mind you, Joe Montana was a 3rd-round pick. Steve Young was plucked from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And yet for 25 years, those two made the offense sing.
Mm-hmm.
What you're seeing in Kyle Shanahan is a version of what Bill Walsh created, but now it's at hyperspeed with the pieces they got. That offense is, like you said, is run by a lot of different. All teams are running a version of that offense in hyperspeed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In hyperspeed. Speaking of hyperspeed, I got to ask you this. You asked me about Brandon Ayuk. I'm going to ask you about Jalen Hurts. Tell me your opinion. And you know you can keep it real with me. I mean, we keep it real. We've kept it real with each other for what, 13 years now?
Yeah, yes.
13 years?
13 years.
We've been friends 13 years, folks.
13 years.
And we've always kept it real with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I said on this program, after the loss, not just to San Francisco, but to Seattle the following Monday night, that Jalen Hurts has horribly regressed. Oh, they came after me with bullets. But I ask you, sir.
Yes.
Find the lie.
Who? And you're asking someone who's actually watched them, who's hear all the noise, everything with Jalen. He did regress. He sure enough regressed. Now there could be some factors. I think there's some. He regressed. Yep. I think he did. He did take a step back. I feel like he was more hurt than he put on.
Mm-hmm.
because you saw
I agree with that.
speed wasn't there, arm strength wasn't there. He just couldn't. And I think offensively, I think there was a lot going on. I think there was with the new coordinator, and now the reports on him and Nick Sirianni. Now they got to get their relationship back together. I think it's all true. I think it's all that all factors in. But I do feel like Hurts did regress plenty, and from the Super Bowl year, that from 2 years ago, and so there was a lot going on because he couldn't scramble because I think he was injured. He wasn't the dynamic dual threat that he was.
He wasn't. And I go back to the 49er game in the second quarter. Check that. In the third quarter, Hurts had plenty of time to throw.
Yeah.
But then the pressure, it was Bosa who broke through and he slipped and fell and did not get back up.
Did not get up? No.
Which it gave me the clue that he was hearing footsteps, part one. But part two, like you said, man, he was more injured than he let on because he wanted to lead this team and get them victories so badly. But when you're not in top, when you're not at top strength, just ask the 49ers. Four of the last 5 years, we've had to deal with significant injuries.
Yep.
Okay? When you're not healthy, there's a problem.
There's a problem, and it goes from your physical, and then now your mental is all out of whack. And then the way the season they collapsed, like you said, losing to the 49ers, they lost to the Cowboys during that stretch. They lost to Seattle, really bad loss, and you lost to Arizona, you lost to the Giants. So there was just something. There was something missing in offense and defense. I thought the offense was very vanilla. And teams figured it out. Teams knew how to defend that offense, and I think there was a lot happening. Like there was just something not right with that team, and but I think this year now with all the new pieces, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, which I'm very excited about, competent offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator that we have.
Right.
I think they will be able to turn it around. And
I hope so, because not seeing Philadelphia in competition hurts me. It hurts me to see them regress the way that they did, but they have to be the ones to put it together.
Yes, they do.
There is something, and I still feel this way. There is something not right with that locker room. There is something mentally missing with these Eagles going into 2024. I say the same thing about the Baltimore Ravens, who got punched in the mouth. During the AFC Championship. Cole Johnson was on this show earlier, and you and I both know and love Mr. Johnson. I mean, hey, he's the EP of all EPs, but very, very dear to both of us. He said himself that first drive, the Baltimore Ravens had the ball in the AFC Championship game, 3 and out, and they punt. First time Kansas City has the ball, they walk right down the field in 7 plays, touchdown, game over.
Game over.
Game over.
Yeah, I agree.
It may have wound up 17-10, but the game was over after that first drive. And you and I have watched many a championship game, AFC or NFC, where if a team gets that first drive touchdown, the game is over. I go back to 2000. I go back to 2010 with a half healthy Aaron Rodgers against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers and company got the ball first. 7 plays later, they're in the end zone. I turned the television off, grabbed my snack, and walked out. And all these Bear fans around me are like, where are you going? Game over. I'm going home. I'm going to go watch something else that actually entertains me.
Yeah. And we knew. And you're right. If you're able in a NFC or AFC championship game, and this is the Chiefs on the road.
This is say that again for those of us in the cheap seats at Veterans Stadium, please.
This is the Chiefs on the road, where Baltimore was the best team record-wise, best team in the NFL record-wise.
Yep.
This was it. This was Lamar Jackson, deserved so, 2-time MVP, deserved so.
Yep.
They had a great year, great defense, great year.
Absolutely.
They were the favorites. They were the favorites. But on the other side, Chiefs on the road, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. That combination right there in itself is hard to bet against, regardless of how bad they were, how bad the Kansas City Chiefs look. I remember, I think I was talking on this on my show. I said, you know what? I don't bet against that guy. I don't bet against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
I had so many people come on the show that championship week saying you cannot bet against Lamar Jackson. I simply said, to be the champs, you must unseat the champs. And I don't see Baltimore. I don't see Baltimore doing it because they're going to spook that. And they did just that. They spooked the hell out of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. And
they spooked him.
It was 14-0. It was like, oh, it's over.
Before you can blink, it was 7-0.
Yeah. Then it was
now Baltimore responded, but then the Chiefs took the ball and played keep away.
Keep away. It was just a smart veteran move because you have Andy Reid and Kansas City had a great defense too last season. So
Kansas City's defense was off the charts. The two best defenses and the two best offenses played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's Kansas City and San Francisco.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. And went down to that game right there went down to the final 3 seconds, and of course I did the live stream for that game. Had lots of people tuning in, and they kept asking me, can the Niners get back after? Man, watch this.
Just watch
this.
Yes.
I applauded that game, not just the 49ers, but the Chiefs as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I stood up and applauded both teams, man.
Yeah, it was a great game.
You can't go wrong with that. You can't.
No.
You can't go wrong with a game like that. And I said, if these two play that kind of game in New Orleans and in Santa Clara, I'm going to be worn out, but I'm going to be happy. I don't care who wins between those two, because you have the two best quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy. And the thing that gives Brock Purdy just a slight bit of an advantage is time. He's only 24. Yeah. Patrick is 28. You know how many both of those teams can become dynasties within a year of each other if they do this right?
They do it right. Yeah.
They do this right. And the Andy Reid leads the Chiefs. Kyle Shanahan leads the 49ers. It's going to be greedy for those two not to be. It's going to be awful for those two not to get to the big game, isn't it?
Yeah, going to be. It will be, because they're the two favorites. And yeah, I mean, as an Eagles fan, I have to put the 49ers as the favorite in NFC. You have to. Like, there's no other. I mean, as good as Detroit was, and as good as they will be.
Right.
The Eagles. I mean, the top teams in the NFC. They got to go through They got to go to Santa Clara. They have to.
They got to go to and through Santa Clara. And Detroit had us for a half, but then the 49ers juggernaut woke up and scored 27 unanswered points.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the Detroit fans I know and love very dearly, I mean, they just looked and went, "What the hell happened?" My wife, my lovely wife, I thought I would wake her up. I thought actually she was taking my daughter to work. I thought that I was going to be crying, and then I'm screaming my head off, especially after the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble, which 3 plays later led to a touchdown.
Yeah,
and tied the game. I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there watching this game, and I'm sitting there calling it, doing an alternative play-by-play for it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I'm going, this is a tie game. And during the break, my wife came in and gave me a back rub and said, "Told you. Now finish it."
Yeah. Yep. There it is. I mean,
the 2 4th down gambles turned into 10 points for San Francisco.
Yep. And
those 2 4th down missed gambles by Detroit turned into 10 key points.
Yeah. And that's your ball game right there.
And that was the game.
That's it. Yeah.
I got Packer fans. I know they're coming to you and they're coming to me. You need to watch the Packers this year. Don't trust the Packers. And I got 2 reasons. Who's running the ball? And if you tell me it's going to be Josh Jacobs, no. You need an offensive line first. And the offensive line gave everything they had up until Santa Clara last January.
Right. Exactly. If they would have kept Aaron Jones, maybe.
Maybe. But you get an oft-injured Josh Jacobs on a 1-year deal.
1-year deal, yeah.
Meanwhile, Aaron Jones has a 2-year deal in Minnesota. Not that they're going to use him correctly because, hey, these are the Vikings.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
These are the same Vikings that let Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins walk to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then Atlanta backdoored them by picking a quarterback.
They're going to quarterback in Phoenix, yeah.
What the hell is that?
What's going on with them? But these are, like you said, these are organizations, as you said, that don't. It starts in the front office. If you have a great front office, we talk about 49ers. They're gonna pay Brandon Ayuk. They paid Deebo Samuel. They extended Christian McCaffrey. They're gonna pay Brock Purdy.
Nick Bosa. They're gonna pay Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
they're paying the people they need to pay. They're paying the core.
They're paying them. Yes, kind of like the Eagles front office. Howie Roseman, the wheeler and dealer that he is. Oh, we gonna get Saquon Barkley? Let's show you what Saquon Barkley can do with an offensive line.
Exactly.
Let's show you what we can do with
and that's the big part that the Eagles need to fix before the season starts. They got to get that offensive line in order.
Yeah,
and that's something I preach all the time with teams. Get the offensive line in order, and you're fine.
You're fine.
No one wants to credit the 49ers offensive line, but Christian McCaffrey led the league in rushing. He damn near had his second 1,000 season. And, of course, Brock Purdy set a record with 4,285 yards, a team record.
Yeah. Offensive line.
Stop it. The offensive line is the reason. Trent Williams entering his 15th season and can still play like he's playing?
Exactly. Yeah. Why do you think these teams, as we talked about, Kansas City, I mean, they fixed the offensive line for what they didn't have. Those Super Bowls ago, the Super Bowl they lost, they said, oh, we got to adjust the offensive line. We got to protect our asset, Patrick Mahomes. And what they do, they go back and win back-to-back Super Bowls. So, offensive line, San Francisco 49ers, the back in Super Bowl, offensive line. Eagles 2 years ago had one of the best offensive lines.
Had one of the best offensive lines in the NFL.
In the NFL, they get the Super Bowl. Offensive line. There you go. So
and the 49ers kept everybody on the offensive line.
Yeah. And we lost a big, huge piece in Jason Kelce. I mean, the anchor, future Hall of Famer in Kelce. Yes, Cam Jurgens. He's learned from them. So
I mean, put Jason Kelce in the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah, put him in.
We can just don't wait the 5 years. Just put him in now. Let's have a party in Canton, Ohio.
Yes.
And let Jason Kelce go completely berserk with his family laughing at him. Exactly. All right. The year it won't be this year because it's too late for me to apply for credentials. But next year I plan to be at the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio.
Why not?
Covering it and as a media member.
Yes.
There's a lot of things I intend to do as a media member. Mentioned the Super Bowl several times. The Final Four has my name on it. Right? WrestleMania has my name on it, and this coming year may be the year because it's in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Right? The World Series has our name on it. I'm gonna quit saying mine. Our names on it.
We're going. We're
going to the world. We're going to the World Series, man.
Yeah, we're going. We are going.
We are doing all these events, and I'm putting this out here right now because I know you're one of the ones that believe in me when I say these words. By the time I am 55, I will be on my way to $1 billion empire. And I'll just retire at age 55 or age 60 and let the money flow in by itself. I'll call a couple of games, but I'll still go to the big events just to have some fun.
Have some fun. Exactly.
But I know the grind that has to be put in. You've been a part of it. I love you very much, and I appreciate you being a part of this. To the BS3 family, thank you all for the 2 years you had Snowman in the Morning. I hope to get back on your network very soon. I know it's just going to depend on the time and everything like that, but you guys at BS3 have been awesome to a Snowman and his family. I could not and cannot thank you all enough, and I can't thank you enough for 13 years of friendship and 13 years of being on the grind together. I love you very much, brother. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
I appreciate the invites always, man. I love you too. And like I said, I see the grind. I see it all. We've done this together, you said, for 13 years, and we're going to just keep building.
Can you believe it's been 13 years?
13 years, man. Wow, 2011. Yeah.
Can you believe it's been 13 years?
13 years, and we continue to keep.
And we continue to keep going. Listen, this fellow right here, folks, Courtney Harden, has been one of the guys that has written through me through everything.
Everything.
Yeah. All right. When I lost my apartment in Gary, Indiana, had to move back home. When I lost my baby, when she passed away, Courtney Harden was one of the first to reach out to me. When I was going through hell in that abusive relationship, who was there? Courtney Harden was one of the first that was there. And then I finally get settled in LaPorte, Indiana, and that's when we really started to take off because we were appearing on each other's shows, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Seemed like at least 5-6 times in the year. So yeah,
we got to get back to that.
We do. We
got to get back to that. 13 years of brotherhood. Forget friendship. 13 years of brotherhood. You can't replace that. I love you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, man. I love you too, man. Really appreciate always. And like you said, you have a brother always. So it's my pleasure, man.
Folks, we got more for you after this.